And Judge Andrew Napolitano speaks to whether any laws were broken in this swap. First, a look back at the story of Bowe Bergdahl. Bergdahl graduated infantry school in 2008 and eventually deployed to Afghanistan. He soon appeared to grow disillusioned with the war. A Rolling Stone magazine story quotes Bergdahl's final email to his parents before his capture, saying, quote, "I am ashamed to even be American. The horror of the self-righteous arrogance that they thrive in, it is all revolting. The title of U.S. soldier is just a lie of fools, and the horror that is America is disgusting." In response to his email, Bergdahl's father wrote back, quote, "Obey your conscience." 3 days later, Bergdahl went missing from his platoon's outpost in Afghanistan and was captured by terrorists affiliated with the Taliban. Bergdahl claimed he was nabbed when he fell behind on patrol, but his fellow soldiers say he simply walked off post. The military devoted weeks to searching for him, and now some in his battalion are claiming that at least 6 soldiers were killed during those missions, although the Pentagon tells Fox News it's never that cut and dry. Bergdahl's parents held out hope their son would one day return home.
We support you and are eagerly awaiting your return home.
Have faith, do good works, continue to tell the truth, but above all, Souther, have the patience that can only come from God.
They got their wish when the White House announced on Saturday that Bergdahl had been released in exchange for 5 infamous Guantanamo Bay prisoners. Hours later, President Obama appeared in the Rose Garden alongside Bergdahl's parents. Bergdahl's father took to the podium. He gave thanks and also praised Allah in the language of the Taliban.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Zayabayem.
While everyone was happy an American was coming home, some in Congress quickly demanded to know why the president had not given Congress the mandatory 30-day notification. Then the administration had to answer questions about encouraging future kidnappings.
I don't think what we did in getting our prisoner of war released in any way would somehow encourage terrorists to take our American servicemen prisoner or hostage.
I think the terrorists are intent on doing what they're going to do.
Right now, those terrorists are celebrating. We just got this homecoming video as the leader of the Taliban issued a rare statement hailing this deal as a, quote, great victory. Joining me first tonight, former Army specialists Cody Full and Gerald Sutton, who are both Afghanistan war veterans and platoon mates of Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for being here, and thank you for your service. Cody, let me start with you. Do you believe that Bowe Bergdahl deserted?
Yes, I do believe he deserted, without a doubt in my mind.
You have been prohibited from talking about this since he was captured. The Army made you sign non-disclosure agreements while he was in captivity. Tonight you're free to speak. Why do you believe he deserted?
Some of the activities before he deserted made telltale signs of this, mailing all his stuff home beforehand, the emails you mentioned, him talking about the terrain extensively, talking to the Afghan National Police in a way that was not about hearts and minds. There was an agenda there when he spoke to them.
Gerald, I know that you were friends with Bowe in your platoon. What do you think?
I do think that it was premeditated and everything, just like Cody said. His true motives and everything, I really don't know. He never spoke about them. But, yeah, pretty much what Cody said, too.
Susan Rice went on the Sunday talk shows this week, yesterday, and said the following. Listen.
He served the United States with honor and distinction, and we'll have the opportunity eventually to learn what has transpired in the past years.
Cody, do you believe that Bowe Bergdahl served the United States with honor and distinction, as she said?
He did not serve the United States with honor. We all took an oath. He violated his oath when he deserted us and put other Americans in jeopardy.
Why do you say that? Because I know a former battalion mate, Nathan Bradley Bethea, has come out and said that he has much to answer for. He attributes the death of at least 6 service members to incidents in which they were searching for him and lost their lives.
What I can say on that is I can't prove that he caused deaths, but what I can prove is those soldiers would not have been there at that location that they died or were severely injured. There's a high probability that they would not be there looking for him if he didn't desert, because then we wouldn't have a mission to find him.
Gerald, apart from that link, the loss of lives of the soldiers who were looking for him, why do you think Americans should be paying attention to whether Bowe Bergdahl was a deserter?
Well, I just don't want to see him hailed as a hero, and I just want him to face the consequences of his own actions and possibly face court-martial for desertion.
The president has come out and said, we leave no service member behind, and that is why we struck this deal, even though it has proven to be controversial for a number of reasons, some of which we're going to get into a little later, including the character of these five Taliban members, these Gitmo detainees. Your thoughts on that, Cody? I mean, as a service member yourself.
I don't think we should. I mean, I'm glad he's home. He is an American. I can only judge him on his actions, and I think he needs to be held accountable for his actions. Anybody else that violates their oath or the military justice code gets a trial, and I believe he should have a trial for what he did.
Gentlemen, thank you both for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you,
Megan.
Today, the administration claimed it wasn't worried about releasing these detainees. But that is not what the administration told Congress back in 2012 about these very same five guys. Here is National Intelligence Director James Clapper.
I don't think anyone harbors any illusions about these five Taliban members and what they might do if they were transferred.
No one harbors any illusions about them. When asked to explain that reversal in 2 years' time, here is what a deputy national security advisor today told CNN.
As a result of the agreement we reached with the government of Qatar, with the personal assurances of the Emir of Qatar, we have the assurances that they will not pose a threat to the United States or to Americans.
Joining me now, Oklahoma Senator James Inhofe. He's ranking member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Sir, they've assured us, Qatar has assured us that they're going to watch these guys for a total of 1 year. And when asked what exactly they'll be doing in watching them, Jay Carney said, I don't know. And when asked what happens after that 1 year, the national security spokesman said very little. Your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, there's, when you stop and think about what they could do, Megan, in a period of a year, they would go back, organize, plan their actions, knowing that we're going to be leaving as the troops are drawn down. Here we have, this is the, you've done a great job in characterizing this guy, Bergdahl, but even if Bergdahl was not a bad guy and didn't desert, still it wouldn't make any difference. You can't negotiate with a terrorist. And these five guys, just by their titles, Megan, they are the five, arguably, the most dangerous people of the 149 left in Gitmo. My personal feeling on this, because I've kind of been trying to champion the cause of keeping Gitmo open now for longer than 6 years. And this is just one more step. I think if the president believes he can take the five most dangerous people in Gitmo and turn them loose, turn them back to the fight, that he can get rid of anyone, and that's his obsession, is to close Gitmo. So I think that factors into this thing in a big way. And as far as what Qatar says they can and can't do, I don't believe any of that. They're going to go back and start working, and they've already killed Americans. They'll be killing more Americans.
These five guys were specifically asked for by the Taliban. We didn't pick them. The Taliban picked them. And you have been talking about these guys and their possible release for a long time, because they've been wanted by the Taliban for some time in a prisoner swap. The president came to Congress a couple years ago and was told, no, this isn't a good idea. Now he says he had to do it because of exigent circumstances. There was urgency, that Bowe Bergdahl's health and some other circumstances demanded it, and he didn't have time to come and notify Congress as the law requires. Your response?
Well, my response is the president knew full and well that these are the highest ranking Taliban people in captivity. And that's the issue. It wouldn't make any difference who Bergdahl was. You don't swap out and turn back to the fight people who have killed Americans, people who are the brain power of Taliban, and they are clearly by their own title. Megan, they're the Minister of Intelligence and all of these different titles. They're the top guys. They're the ones that they've all been wanting to get back, and they're getting back at a time right after the president will have drawn our numbers down to a very low number.
But the administration says, Senator, that they say, look, this is how wars end. The war is ending, and this is what you do. You exchange prisoners at the end of the war, and it's always happened this way.
So we should have turned Hitler loose, and that would have ended the war. No, that's just on its face. It doesn't pass the smell test. This isn't right, and it's hard for me and people. I talked to a lot of people in Oklahoma just this morning about this, and they can't figure out why in the world would we turn loose the 5 most dangerous people who hate America, who want to kill Americans, who have the equipment and the following to revive what was the Taliban. And that's what they're doing.
I know that there's a Senate Armed Services Committee that's going to take place next Tuesday. It's closed.
It's closed. Now, here's the problem. And I don't like the closed hearings because the American people need to know. Today I requested an open hearing, and whether we can do that by following the closed hearing, I don't know. But we need to have an open hearing so that everyone knows what's going on.
What's happening. I need to turn the page with you quickly before we get to Vice President Dick Cheney back on Bergdahl, because today there was also big news made on the EPA, and the president now has a cap and trade proposal, essentially. The same one. It looks very much real. When he